that none of the other two have that Hadi has is Hadi just has that.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the Persian wolf, Hadi Chupan, as he posted this amazing most muscular, which is his trademark shot. And this one is from this past Miss Olympia prep. Now there is something that has to be said about the package that Hadi Chupan brought to the Arnold Classic stage earlier this year. Because Nick Walker was asked this question on who he feels is the biggest threat at the Olympia level. And even after watching Samson win the Olympia and bringing his all-time best, and just for your information, Nick Walker was the one who called it after the prejudging that he has Samson winning the show. Now he still said this in the latest episode of The Mutant and the Mount.
I mean, if they all come in correct, it'll be all of them, right? But
well, that obviously.
If I had to narrow it down, I always said Hadi.
That Hadi still is the biggest threat because Hadi has something that neither Derek or Samson has. And just to remind you guys of the fact that Nick Walker was there in attendance of this year's Arnold, where Hadi Chupan won his first ever Arnold, and it just wasn't even close between him and Samson
None of the other two have that Hadi has is Hadi just has that granite hard conditioning that you nobody can really contend with.
Now it is kinda too bad that Hadi Chupan did not show up at this year's Olympia the way he showed up for the Arnold this year. And there is no guarantee that Hadi will ever be able to peak as perfectly as he did for the Arnold, whether he can duplicate that same Arnold Ohio look or not. I mean, just take the career of the legendary Jay Cutler, and it took him 9 years to be able to bring something that was so incredible that made people think that maybe his 2009 Mr. Olympia package was better than his 2001. So it wasn't like Jay Cutler wasn't working as hard in the years after 2001. It's just extremely difficult to nail every single aspect of that bodybuilding peak. And that is exactly why Hadi Chupan chose not to do the Arnold next year, so that his body is 100% fresh for the Olympia next year.
I've beaten Samson. Samson's beaten me. So I think he's beatable. I mean, I haven't beaten Derek or Hadi, but I firmly believe I can beat Derek. And I also think I can beat Hadi, but I think Hadi will just be my ultimate biggest challenge when it comes down to it.
Now, Hadi Chupan is 37 years old, and apparently he has no injuries whatsoever. The man is still in his prime, so he still has a few more years left at the peak of his game before he has to worry about his quads getting downsized. Because typically, most of these IFB pros, most of these guys in the men's open, they start to lose their quad sweep in their 40s. So does Hadi Chupan still has a shot at the Olympia title? I have got to say absolutely he has, if he can duplicate that same Arnold Ohio package that we saw earlier this year. Next up we have a less than 10 weeks out physique update of the reigning Arnold Classic champion Wesley Vissers, who got together with his coach Stefan, and both him and his coach Stefan opened up about what really happened at the Olympia this year. Why Wesley went from being a title contender this year, and that was all the way leading into the show, to not even placing in the first call out. He was 8th at the Olympia this year, so apparently it was another case of that missed peak. And contrary to what we saw at the Arnold Classic this year, where Wesley just nailed every single aspect of the game, he ate more than ever for carving up for the Olympia this year, but he still lacked that pop, that wow factor that he had at the Arnold earlier this year. And Wesley having a very apparent imbalance between his upper and lower half. He just cannot afford to be even slightly off for any major show. So the upcoming Arnold, that is gonna be a real test for Wesley. Now the thing is, if Wesley just won the Arnold Ohio earlier this year, some of us could have speculated that was just a fluke. But the thing is, he won the Arnold UK as well, and that too more comprehensively, beating an even better version of Brion and a much more improved version of Ors. So he is in very high spirits as he is just 10 weeks out from defending his first ever Arnold title. And we all want to see Wesley at his all-time best in this show, going up against Mike Sommerfeld. We are living in an era where so many people are getting more scientific about the exercise selection and the range of motion and what can yield the best results. Now, so many people will definitely have an opinion on this video of a mere curling 90 pounds for dumbbell curls. So the old school bodybuilding fans, they must remember a legend from the 90s and the early 2000s, Kevin Levrone, curling 100 pounds For the dumbbell curls, I believe that was filmed when he was prepping for Mr. Olympia 2000, which turned out to be one of the best package of his career, and he placed second behind Ronnie Coleman that year. Now this has also been Branch Warren's style of training throughout his career, and surprisingly, Branch never had any injury while training, and he made tremendous progress using this style of training. And so is Amir. Show me another 22 years old, any RB pro out there who competed in the men's open class, who has that kind of size that Amir has. He carries an unbelievable amount of muscle mass, and he gets insanely ripped and absolutely shredded every single time he steps on stage. So this training style, that definitely works for him. So would this guy get more results if he trained with a bit more controlled form? Well, maybe he can, but we will never know, and the man himself knows more about his physique than any of us. But I have got to say, even that 90 pounds dumbbell for curls, for biceps, that is just insane, because so many people cannot even press that kind of weight. Next up, we have an update from Terrence Ruffin, and he is also confirmed for Detroit Pro, which is scheduled at the end of March, which really makes us wonder that he could have made his return to this upcoming Arnold, since there is a 4 weeks gap between both these shows. But the Arnold 125, that was never on Terrence's competition plans, and if anything, this is gonna be the big comeback of Terrence Ruffin after more than 16 months, because as far as I can remember, he did Chiru Classic as his last show, and that was at the end of 2023, and he did not compete this year because of a number of reasons. Most importantly, the problem he was having with his elbow. So Terrence's first show in 2025, that can set him up as one of the biggest classic physique Olympia title contenders for next year. So other than Brion Ansley, he has better statistics than any other guy who are going to be competing at the Olympia next year. He has 2 Arnold titles, as well as 2 runner-up spots behind Chris Bumstead at the Olympia. And the fact that he is the only one who can pack on so much muscle on his frame without having to worry about making that classic physique weight cutoff, that makes him a very special athlete, and the one to really watch out for in 2025. So all that hype about Tawfiq, the new IFBB Pro and middleweight champion at the NPC Nationals earlier this year, that is as real as it gets, as Gilgo Productions came out with a full HD quality footage of him posing at that show, and those proportions are just truly sensational. It is really mind-blowing that he started competing only 1.5 years ago. And here is a picture of him from his first show, which was the Cutler Classic from 2023. So to go from that to the physique that he displayed here at the NPC Nationals, that is just insanity. And he was middleweight, meaning he has so much room to grow for the 212 division. And I am glad a legend like Chris Cormier gave him a shout out that this guy is going to be a real force to be reckoned with in the future in the 212 class.
This cat is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Tofeek and Muhammad, I mean, he's really raw. In fact, the bicep wasn't great, but the legs are humongous. The ab selection, like the way the serratus and obliques and everything is lined up is perfect.
Yes, he still needs a lot of work in terms of executing and holding those poses, but the man just won his pro card, and now it's gonna be on everyone's radar. His quad sweep is already crazy impressive. Just imagine him filling up his upper body, and his X-frame is gonna get even crazier. So looking forward to witness his career, which is probably gonna take off next year after a full off season. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.